And I know some of you are waking up and some of you are getting ready to end your workday, but thank you for being here. Whoops, hang on, I'm trying to get control of my screen here, which is not letting me do it. Okay, all right. So our agenda this morning is, can you all see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, so the agenda this morning is up here, and I just wanted to ask if any of you have any announcements, that you'd like to make about anything you're doing that has to do with polar science or just in your lives. You heard about my house, I made my announcement. So anybody want to share anything that's going on with you?
Okay, so I have an announcement.
She did have
Okay, I heard two voices.
Yeah. When it's mine, it's Patricia.
Yeah, go.
Okay, thank you. So I will start to work with José Xavier in the educational projects in Portugal. So I leave my classroom, and the next year I will go work only in polar education.
Wow, that's awesome. Congratulations, that will be so much fun.
Yeah, it's good because this year I lost my place in my school with the old changes made by the government, and suddenly I find this way to have a new work.
That's awesome. You will have so much fun. You're going to enjoy that so much. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Well, it's my first day of school today, so I'm looking forward to that. And this year we're at my school we're getting a STEM academy started up, and I've been able to interject the polar component into that we're going to be trying to develop a little bit more and working on. So, and with the ROVs, we're off the ground with that already, Sarah. So everything's looking good.
Congratulations, that sounds great. A lot of schools are doing the STEM academies, and they've added an A. John, have you heard that? The STEAM academies, and adding in the arts.
Oh yes, yes, we have spoken about that.
It's kind of cool. Anybody else?
This is Julia. I was in Washington, D.C. Right before my school started doing a teacher workshop with Deep Earth Academy people at Ocean Leadership. And I did talk to them about why we haven't interacted with them with PEI, or they haven't been to the IPY things. So Jen, who's over there, said they didn't really know much about it. So please get them information. It's something they would love to interact with us about that. So that's good.
Yeah, that's real good. Thanks for doing that.
Yep.
I'll go ahead and update too. I just got back from the Arctic with National Geographic Grosvenor Teacher Fellow Program, and I actually did a lot of recruiting for PEI while I was on the ship. So there's some people that are in education. There's other people that were naturalists on the boat that's probably going to join us that work in Copenhagen, and a retired professor from UAF, and an ice captain from Quebec. He was pretty interested.
Wow, very cool. Anybody else?
I'm eating a lot of good salmon right now.
And blueberries.
That's all.
And some blueberries too, I think.
Yeah. It's harvest season here, so it's a very calming time of year.
Thank you. Okay, well, is there anybody else? All right, then we'll move on then. As you can see, we've got a few things we want to talk about today. I'm going to talk a little bit about the website, and then Sarah's going to talk about Global Advisors and Polar Week and Antarctica Day, and then we're going to come back to me and we'll end this call talking about launching PEI. So as Sarah said in the website, hopefully you've got some ideas that maybe you've thought of, and we'll do some little brainstorming together. So the website is, our URL is Polar Educator. Notice that there's no s.org. Unfortunately, the S wasn't available for us to buy, but we've got polareducator.org. Jenny Baseman, the director of CLIC, Climate in the Cryosphere in Norway, has sponsored the website for us, so they're paying the hosting fee, and she has set us up and also trained us in Joomla. So she's got the pages for us set up, and you'll notice it says website under construction. This is what the page looks like this morning, but I'm just going to take you through a little bit of the site map, and then in the next 2 weeks, we're going to be working together to populate this with content. So we're just about ready to have the website really rocking and rolling and having some content. So if you look along the top, you can see the buttons as they stand right now. I'm going to take you to a couple of those pages. If we go to the About PEI, this is going to be where our information about the organization is, from the mission and vision. It'll also be where our current council members and advisors have a small bio and things like that on there, sponsors and partners and that type of thing. For the activities page, if you look down the left, like there's nothing here yet, so there's, you know, these are just basic pages, but down the left will give you an idea of where we're going. We're going to have a place for activities, and we're still in the, to be really honest, we're still in the stage where we're really specifically defining what each of these means, so that when any of you are helping us populate this with content, we'll know where it should go. But activities that we are sponsoring, we've talked about a master class. We'd like one of the showpieces of PEI that we want to develop as a master class, having a scientist and a polar educator together each month if we can, but at least each quarter in the beginning, where we provide content and resources for different topics in polar education. And we're really excited about that. So we're hoping that that'll actually be something that we can announce at the launch. When we're involved in Polar Week, we'll have a place for that. Polar Match is also a dream, and it's going to require some funding to make happen, but Polar Match would be where educators and researchers can find each other through our organization, and researchers can find an educator to work with them on their project or to help them with their broader impacts or help them communicate to a specific audience. Educators can find scientists in specific regions or specific areas, disciplines that they're studying in, and maybe email them or get them to visit their classroom, things like that. Meetings will be announced here. Working groups that some of you have volunteered for will be here, and then a way to get involved. We'll have a place for news. Whoops, I don't have that one in here. Whoops, I'm sorry, let me go back. There will be a place for news, both PEI news and then RSS feeds from places like CLIC and some other polar areas. So for educators, there's going to be some link to some of the same places like the masterclass, the polar batch, but there'll be a place for resources, opportunities for educators, opportunities, for example, if Polar Trek right now is soliciting for educators to work with them, we would announce that here. Professional development would be a place where we might provide professional development at a meeting. Say at NSTA, maybe we have a meeting that has a specific professional development piece to it for educators. And for scientists. Scientists have some of the same overlapping kinds of needs, but they also would have communicating science. We'll be providing communicating science different ideas for them, and possibly some professional development for scientists too. And then we'll have a place for them to contact us, and a members area where they can get connected and sign up, and also kind of a social media kind of thing where they can be blogging and sharing ideas. So that's where we're headed with this. It's, you know, like I said, it's under construction. You can go to that link if you want to see it. But like I said, pretty much what you saw here is all that's there, because the content is still coming. We just have the skeleton right now. So any comments about that?
Yeah, Louise, the content, is there centralized people who will do them, and are you going to use first matters from the Facebook, which is now incredibly full of information, or what is the plan? How would you go?
Yeah, we have a committee working on this, and Betsy Wilkening on the call has been leading up that committee, and what we're hoping to do is work together using things like the strategic plan, the Facebook. Sarah has collected a lot of information, you know, at the ARCIS office with bios and things like that people have submitted. So we'll be working on starting with that, and then that's like phase one, just to get it out there. But then after that, I think what we need to do is we'll have a working group that will be trained in Joomla and will be in charge of updating content and things like that. Mm-hmm. Betsy, do you want to add anything, or?
Yeah, if you have other suggestions too, somebody had suggested the content we have on Facebook to kind of sift through that and put some of that out with our resources and stuff like that. Just let us know. We'd love to see what you guys are thinking.
Yeah, and if you want to work on it, let us know. We'll train you in Joomla. It's a huge job, and anybody who has put together a website, you understand how gigantic this whole thing is, and all the little itty bitty decisions you have to make before you can even start to build a website, about where things are going to link to what that map looks like behind. So it's been a gigantic job.
And can I just ask another question?
Sure.
Knowing how I'm working with websites, and what we realize is, like you say, Louise, you come up with a huge mass of things. So you have to bear in mind from the beginning some kind of initial structure so that it fits in. I remember that we were talking some time ago on about the book, the Polar Resource book. Is this a kind of template that will be used for temas, or how are you going to select? How are you going to, or yeah, treat all the huge information mass? Because it's not. I guess there's going to be a structure. If you just have a list, it's going to be incredibly difficult to select for. No.
I'm not sure I understand the question.
I think I can answer that. I think you're talking more about resources, and we've had lengthy discussions on this. Because with resources, you know, some of the sites that we've looked at, like the cleannet.org or teachengineering.org, those kind of people, they have full-time paid positions for people just to keep resources current and vet them and put them in formats that people want them in. So we don't have that ability at this point. What we were talking about doing for the resources, number one, with the book, I don't know if we have permission to republish that yet, and that was something that was talked about, getting permission, but we haven't moved forward with that. For the resources, we were going to kind of have two separate paths to take. One would be just, here's some websites that we know that have great resources out there on them that have been vetted, and we'll have those and keep those up to date. As far as actual individual lessons and putting them in formats that you can use, we're not going to attempt that for a while. What we're going to do is part of the social networking part. Hopefully have people just post up resources. I've used this kind of like we've done informally on Facebook, you know. Here it is for what it's worth, you know, with us not really endorsing that. As far as PEI knows, this is a good resource. What it is more of just organic kind of thing where people are sharing what they've used and what's worked for them, and that's about the best that we can do at this point.
Okay.
And in the background of that, there is a lot of talk at different levels about the book and about the Polar Resource Book and about how we might be able to move forward with that. And our organization would be the perfect partner for that. So there's feelers out and there's talking out there in different places. So hopefully that will come to fruition. But yeah, so looking at two different sides of that, like Betsy said, you know, being very careful that if we put a resource on here that we know that it's vetted and it's in our resource links, that we're very careful about that. And then in the social media part, you know, being able to share whatever you want, which I think is a nice way to separate that. Okay.
So can I ask another question, please?
Sure.
The activities and resource in website are only in English, or we can submit in another language? You have defined that already?
Well, as you know, the language part is extremely difficult, but what we are looking at is Joomla offers a couple of different ways to translate things. So one of the things that we have, and Jenny through Click has, they're paying for the upgraded version of Joomla so that we can pick something like that and put it in. So that's coming. We just have to kind of figure out, is there, you know, there's a lot of different ways to do that. Do we put a tab at the top that says languages and then you can go in and pick what things are available in your language, or is there a place where you just click on a button and it translates what's on the page for you? So, you know, and of course we all know that isn't perfect, but we're looking at some of those, and maybe, you know, our global advisors, I think that's probably a really good place for them to be advising us on how to go forward with that. But yes, that's definitely on the table and an important part of it. Sorry about that. That's my doggy doorbell.
Okay, thank you.
Let me move to another room. Sorry. I'm going into a room where I can close the door because I think it'll be easier than having her be quiet with the garbage men going by. Sorry. Okay. Anything else? And thank you all for the thoughtful discussion. This is very, very helpful.
Yes, I have a question. Sandra?
Sure.
Is there a moment that you're going to invite the people for content submission, or do you expect already now that things come in? And who would do that? Who is the contact person then?
If you have content you would like on the website, why don't you send it to Betsy or to send it to Betsy and copy it to me, because we're working on it. Sarah's working on it. Heidi, Gary, we're all involved in trying to get this populated in time for the launch. But if you have some content you'd like there, send it, because we're open to getting anything up here that's helpful.
Great.
Okay. Anything else on the website?
It's look good.
Okay. So I'm going to turn it over to Sarah here. She's going to be talking about Global Advisors and Polar Week and Antarctica Day. And then we'll come back at the end when she's done.
Can you guys see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good, good. Okay, so it should be a slide that says Global Advisors. And I'm not sure if you can read the font if it's too small, but just a quick update on the Global Advisors. So this is a group that wasn't elected but invited into, and they're from all over the world, helping us to be as sort of global as possible. Sandra is the one who started this group, and then Heidi, Roop, and I have been sort of keeping it going. And right now we have Inga May. She's from Germany, part of the International Permafrost Association, and she has signed on to be the coordinator and make sure things keep moving with the global advisors. So that's very good news. In our last meeting, which was about a month ago, we had an orientation for folks, just like we did for the council. We talked about the role of global advisors, what they might be doing, and some of the goals. And of course, the big goals are inclusivity, being language or teaching philosophies around the world, how it is we interact with science, and trying to make sure we can represent hopefully all of that. And we really do want to have an evaluation of being what everybody keeps saying, a truly international organization. So we don't know what that looks like yet, but hopefully that will be one of the tasks that come out of our global advisors. In our last meeting, we had Sandy Zykis from Australia. She's a global advisor. She shared her work about her PhD that she's doing on basically on global outreach efforts and how people were learning about International Polar Year science and outreach. And she has done incredible work. So she's going to be a really good resource for us as we start to look into the very same thing from our organization. So just things that people are going to work on for global advisors is they're going to review and comment on the strategic plan that we adopted. And I see that Miriam might not be able to hear anything. So it looks like Patricia's kind of helping her. Sorry.
I don't know.
And let's see. We're asking them for an international partnerships list. So organizations that would be good to have as partners, just like we already have SCAR for Antarctica and IASC for the Arctic. So I know a few of you had said you'd love to try connecting and making these partnerships happen. So we'll see how that goes pretty soon. And they're looking at that evaluation process. And then the next call should be sometime soon. So that's a little bit about the global advisors.
Sarah,
Yeah.
quick question. This is Joanna.
Hi.
With the international partnerships, if we have somebody to suggest, should we contact who?
So Inga's email talked to the global advisors and said, just email me. I can get that to you so you know what she's looking for.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yes, yeah, I don't think I have that one, so that would be great.
No, you got it. Absolutely. Any other questions about global advisors? All right. This is going to be a key group for us, so it's going to be really neat to see it build together.
We are thrilled,
Louise.
Sarah.
Oh, go ahead.
We are thrilled, Sarah, still about the global advisors, aren't we?
It's going to be I think it's going to be a pretty amazing piece of our organization. Thank you for starting it up, Sandra. Louise, I'm going to take a step back really quick. People were asking a lot about content for the website. I just wanted to mention that I have been working on pulling together all our information of the steering committee year. Sandra, most of the information you sent me is right in this annual report that I'm just about done with, and we can get out pretty soon. So tons and tons of information. It's about 10 pages long of all the things that the steering committee had done and the things that we're moving into as the executive committee and council. So this is out there, and we'll use lots of this content. So thanks for all the things that people have been adding over the last year and a half.
And that
Okay.
annual report is really amazing, Sarah. Thanks for putting that together.
No worries. It's fun. Okay, so Polar Week is coming up. This is an APEX event, the Association of Polar Early Career Scientists, and we've been a partner on it for many years here, the last year especially. And it's September, so just in the equinox coming up, so it'll be kind of the fourth week of September. Something new this year is that they're decentralizing the coordination. So not as much coordination from like the executive committee of Apex, but allowing national committees to participate how they would like to participate. The big activity is one about penguins. It's kind of geared towards younger students, but it's sort of the idea that you should help participate in research, which makes sense from a science organization. So it's great. It's being translated into many languages, and the coordinator said she's just about done. So this is the picture of the website, but there's not too much more than that right now. That's a little bit about Polar Week. We, as PEI, are probably not going to do a separate event or anything for Polar Week, but we really suggest that you advertise or participate however you'd like to. And that's because we got to work on our launch, and Louise will talk about that in a second. So that's Polar Week. And then Antarctica Day is the 1st of December. You can check out the Our Spaces website. So that's who kind of puts together all of Antarctica Day, and the ways that they want us to get involved is part of the flag making activity. I know Julia did last year and a couple others. They have a Facebook group, a website. PEI can help advertise. And then they were saying we could brainstorm on ideas that go with the flag activity, the flag making activity. So if you have other ideas of how you can use that flag making, let us know, and we can help share that with Our Spaces. So we'll give as much information as we can on this as they come through. And Louise,
Sarah,
yeah, go
can I
ahead.
ask a question? I'm
Yeah.
not familiar with Our Spaces. Who sponsors that?
Yeah, so it's an organization, I believe in and of itself. It's Julie Berkman, and it's in the UK. And she's just kind of taken on Antarctica Day as something that they celebrate because it's a international space. It's sort of available for everyone, and that's part of their purpose.
Okay.
And so that was basically it. I added this because I realized we hadn't talked about the American Geophysical Union meeting coming up in December. PEI is hosting an entire session, and we got 26 abstracts, which is it's incredible.
It's phenomenal.
We're having 2 oral presentations and 1 poster session. We've talked about a panel, launch events, and the cryosphere reception. So lots happening. And I put this picture up on the Facebook page a couple days ago. The words that are used in the abstracts for our session. So it was pretty neat to have looked through. So that's all.
For those of you not familiar with AGU, when she says 2 oral sessions, that means 2 hour-long sessions of speakers plus a poster session, which is huge because some of the science sessions don't get that much time.
Each of them are really 2 hours long, so it'll be 4 hours of polar education.
I'm sorry, you're right.
Greatness.
2 hours.
Yep. Yeah, that's awesome.
It's a lot.
Yep. And Sarah, this is Joanna again.
Uh-huh.
We also have 2 panels, one on science communication, one on climate change issues, entered for the October 18th and 19th Alaska Math and Science Teachers Conference.
Oh, good.
And so we're pulling the people together for those from hopefully primarily local folks. But I will be, as soon as this week, I'm going to be sending out some invites and information to people on the PEI sites. So please share that. I know it's not terribly international, but it's up in Alaska, so we're Arctic.
That's great, Joanna.
Thanks, perfect. And that's all I had, Louise, so I'm going to turn it back
Sarah?
to you, okay?
Okay.
Oh, and I
I have
hear
a question.
Sandra.
Yeah, I have a question. Is it possible? Is you have all these things from the HU, the different words?
Uh-huh.
It looks pretty. Let's say we are trying to go in Excite again. Remember last year that we were.
Oh, yeah.
This year we are a bit earlier. So next week or within 2 weeks, I have a call with Matteo how to go on, and the idea. So it's an Excite. Excite is European. The overgrouping. How do you say this? The group, the umbrella organization of European science centers, and we are going to try to get polar eradication in there. Don't know how it will work, but I think. I don't know. Maybe this abstract might be helpful for us to define and to get something done in Excites, and this is meant to be for summer this year. So, but we have to do the effort now. So we have to bring sessions, we have to organize sessions or propose sessions, and then there's a kind of voting in Excites, which means that we might get to you, to polar eradicators, to ask for voting, so that we get a lot of more interest and that we get it in there. So any help on a description so far would be welcome.
Great, perfect. Yeah, Sandra, I'll send you an email sometime soon, maybe before next week.
Yeah,
okay.
Great. Then I can discuss together with Matteo.
Yeah, okay. So, if there's not any more questions, I can turn it to Louise.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, can you see the Global Advisors and Polar Week CIRA slide?
Yes.
Yes. Yep. Yes.
Okay. So what we want to talk about now is the launch, and I just wanted to, I threw some pictures up here of different kinds of activities just to remind you of our mission. And the mission as it's written is a vibrant network promoting polar education and research to a global community. So want to be thinking about how we might reach out to different communities, whether it's students, educators, stakeholders, scientists, whatever. The vision is this. I'll let you read it again.
Wow, that's great.
So what we're hoping is that PEI will represent educators, but also bring in that researcher piece, and that we can really and truly be the organization that can bridge educators and researchers and bring them together in important ways, and at the same time reaching across latitudes, cultures, and all of this, which is a huge thing, but I think we can do it. I think we're on our way. So the goals of the launch that we have talked about so far, but we may not have them all. We may need some help on this. We want people to be aware of PEI and what our mission and vision is. We want to then throw it out to the world, basically, and start to really get membership. We have our founding members at about, I don't know, Sarah, what is it, about 300, 400 members right now? Something like that?
428.
All right.
Yesterday.
Great. So we have this, we have several hundred members, which is great, but I think we can go for several thousand without any problem. So want to throw that out to you too as we're talking about the launch. What are some other goals that we might want to be meeting? These two, obviously, and then there may be some others too. So we've thrown around a few ideas. We're wanting to look at early December to launch both the organization worldwide in a big way, to let people know we're there, really have this big push to get membership, and also to launch the website so that we have it all the pieces together. AGU is early in December, so that would afford us a place that we could do some face-to-face kinds of things besides virtual launch. Some of the ideas that we've thrown around are just like a panel on the future of science communication. Sarah's told you about our PEI session. We've already thrown it out there. We haven't done it officially, but we've done a little talking about a possible presence at the cryosphere reception, which is always a big, really big reception. And then we need to be thinking about what kind of marketing tools do we want for this? Do we want a pull-up banner that we can use at the cryosphere reception and at AGU, but also carry it around to other places? Maybe some save the date postcards, stickers, postcards, that type of thing. So those are just some very basic ideas that we've started talking about. And I want to throw it to you and ask what ideas you might have to engage audiences, educators, research, and international, both virtually and possibly at a face-to-face kind of thing. And we can make this truly a brainstorm where we're not judging things at this point, but we're throwing ideas out there. So I would say have at it, and Sarah and I can both be trying to catch all these things as you're throwing them out.
One thing that I think would be useful, this is Joanna, is some kind of like buddy classroom system. So you could, whether it's a buddy classroom in your district or maybe it's somebody in another country. But that way, you know, everybody basically, you're doubling your impact. And having somebody to work with is always motivating too.
Okay, great.
A question that I would have for those of us who have not been to AGU before, the cryosphere reception, can you explain what happens there, and do we know when that's taking place?
I don't have a date for it yet, but the cryosphere reception usually has hundreds and hundreds of people there. They have drinks, you know, open bar, and
Okay.
usually some snacks. It's usually a social kind of thing. After there's usually a large talk that's given sometime before this, based on the cryosphere, and then it's a social thing. They usually do have some slides on the wall that they talk about the different organizations that are involved in putting on the cryosphere reception, but mostly people like to just get together and talk. So it's not
a typical reception thing.
Yeah, it's not a real good place for us to stand there and talk. Plus, they don't usually give time to other organizations. But
right,
there have been a couple of effective things in the past where, for example, Click, when they were just reintroducing themselves, went around during the reception and gave stickers out that people were like wearing on their clothes and stuff. So, you know, just kind of went around to tables. There were a bunch of us passing them out and getting people to do that. So it is possible that we could do something like that, or have a, you know, we've even talked about maybe getting a table over on the side with a banner, so
right.
people could come to us and choose to, rather than us intruding on their social, they could actually come and interact with us.
Or maybe we could all have, I don't know, matching T-shirts on in some awful color that people would recognize, would stand out, and I don't know, yeah, and have something to pass out then also.
Yeah, I think that would work well.
If you have the sticker with the website address.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Must be really hot there, John.
Okay, sorry.
I feel bad for you.
Well, along with Sandra, we've been having a heat wave here too, and the humidity is just, it's not anything like back east, but it's been ridiculous lately here.
This is Sarah, and there is a lot of built-in possibilities to being face to face, of course, at that meeting. I'm wondering more, what can we do to make this a worldwide event? What else can we do? And I like Joanna's idea to start. But is there something that we want classrooms to do, or more this is an organization for adults, and so how would we do a membership drive? How would we spread the word beyond this meeting?
Well, one thing I can do, and I imagine that a lot of you have these too, but I have access to the Andrel educators list, which is several thousand long, and there are people there that always want to jump in and do stuff polar. So I have not sent it out to that list yet because I wanted us to have a place to send them to, other than just the Facebook page. I really wanted us to have the professional face of an official website. So that's one of the things that I can do. And Sarah, I would assume you can do that. And a lot of you may have networks that we can announce this to and get it out to thousands of people. We may want to think about what that announcement would look like. So some of the marketing tools, having something really splashy that we can all send out.
Everybody.
I was thinking too, along that line, when we have the put out the all call sort of thing to our different groups that we know and say, here we are. If people choose to join or have joined already, one thing that might be kind of quick and easy to do is if people took pictures of either themselves or themselves with classrooms, if it's possible to do that, and then take all those pictures and put it together in one of those photo collage things where all the individual pictures make a larger picture.
That'd be awesome.
Can you do that?
I haven't done that in the past, but I can maybe look into that.
I don't remember the names of them, but there are some good programs out there that'll do it.
Okay.
And then Heidi Roop used something like that for that Flakes, Blobs, and Bubbles. All of the photos all of the drawings that she got were turned into pictures of penguins and stuff like that. So that's a great question for Heidi.
Who do you send the pictures to? Do you want pictures, or do you have enough pictures?
I bet we would need pictures.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Well, and I think the key part would be encouraging all the members to do that so that you have sort of their current pictures.
Yeah. I think so too, yeah.
But maybe you will have to put a limit on it, on the number of pictures they send. Otherwise you get in trouble. I can send you 1,000 pictures.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it might be part of this buddy classroom system. Have them sign up on the website and send a picture of their kids doing something polar or something like that.
Yeah. The one thing I've noticed recently is just, at least here, it seems every third or fourth person I'm talking to has gotten excited about geocaching. And so I'm trying to think, is there some way we could do something similar where anybody, it doesn't require, somebody central doing something. It basically, anybody could go do something polar and then share it virtually that anybody else can come check out. So not so much a physical one, but could we have like a virtual polar geocaching?
That's cool. I like that idea.
I mean, they have like educational idea type geocaches too. So I mean, maybe we even just use their system.
I have a friend that's super into geocaching, and he's put one in my little free library.
Yep.
I can check with him and find out what he knows about
Yeah,
how we could
because
use that.
it seems to be really taking off with huge buzz right now. So like, if there's some way to jump on that, I think that would really, become enormous.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I've done earth caching with my students. That's put on by the Geologic Society of America conference or association, I mean. And what they do is just have volunteers put in caches, and when you go to the caches, you're looking at some certain geologic formation. So it's not actually something that's hidden there, and there's a description of it, stuff like that, and then they can post things out there as a picture of you at this certain outcrop or whatever it is. We could do something that way, more environmental kind of caching, where people go to somewhere and say, look at this that was formed by a glacier, or look at this, something that might be related to the environment or climate change or something like that.
Cool. Yeah.
This is Sarah. One thing that is a real amazing collection of information is all of your statements from the council. When you applied to be on the council, you talked about sort of why polar education is important to you or why you are invested in it. And I feel like those could be amazing, like inspirational tools for people. So maybe the photos made me think of videos, Betsy, exactly, and maybe have audio or video of you all, it's content that's already existing, somehow using those. So I'll think on that a little bit.
And Sarah, would that be done in English, all of them? Or you think, okay, we will, I'm again there with the language, but it's maybe it's an opportunity to reach your own language people
Yep.
as
Yeah.
well.
That would be cool if we could do something in just send a video of the person, even council members saying what they put in their applications in their own language and put it together into a iMovie or a QuickTime or something like that. Would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
We could make it
cool.
very simple.
I love that idea.
Like we did for Antarctica Day, the video we created there where we had folks reading just a short statement, and it was in many different languages, and we could have people reading our mission in multiple languages.
Oh, cool. I love that.
I like that idea a lot.
Yeah,
I do too.
Because then you could also use that video, something simple like that, in terms of like social networking blitz. If we're, really taking, a certain period of time, like maybe we pick a week where we're sending as many things to as many places as we all have. But having something engaging like that is always much better than just saying, yay, go to the website.
And I threw in there, we could also, maybe that's what we show at AGU, even at our little table, we could maybe even have it running on a computer there if they wouldn't let us put it up on the screen. But that would be awesome. I love that idea.
Or Louise, you said usually before the cryosphere reception, there's usually some big talk. Do we have any idea who's doing that? And could we get them to show it during their few minutes or something?
I doubt it, because that's
big favor. No.
Is that the NI lecture?
Yeah, I think it's the NI lecture, which is huge.
Never mind, that won't work. Okay.
But
let's just say, get a streaker running through the lecture.
Oh, Christ, yeah.
But,
John, you're volunteered.
we might be able to show it.
Thanks.
It's possible at the poster session of PEI, because they do have options for media with the posters.
Yeah.
So we can find that out, and we could be showing that during our PEI session.
Okay.
Great ideas. Keep throwing these out. These are awesome.
Hmm.
Well, what we could do is kind of let these simmer a little bit and send, if you get an inspiration or idea, send it in. But there's also another thing you can do, and that is you can volunteer for the working group. This is going to be a short-term group. A lot of you have already volunteered for other working groups which haven't actually started yet. This is going to start right now today and work until the launch in December. We're offering that to the council first. You have the first chance to volunteer for this, and then if we need to solicit the general membership for more people, we will. So the regular working groups that some of you have already volunteered for will start in early January after the launch. And so we would love to have lots of people on this working group to really get in there, be creative, and make the plans for the launch.
I'd love to do it, Joanna.
Okay, I'm going to let Sarah write these down rather than me, I think.
Who was that? Was that Joanna? Sorry.
That was Joanna.
Yeah. And Julia's got a comment over there that she wants to.
And Julia.
Okay, thank you.
And John.
The J team. Your name must start. What's that?
I want a cool van to go with the J team.
Oh.
Yeah, I guess we need like some commando gear or something. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Only in polar reds kind of things.
Who was that? Patricia was asking about the YouTube Antarctica Day video. I had to redo it, and so I just put the new link up. The music, we had to get rid of the music and put new music in. Sorry.
All right. Well, we will.
I have John, Julia, and Joanna. Is that right?
And then, yeah, and then there'll be at least one person from the executive committee also involved. I'm probably gonna. I saw Betsy said going to concentrate on the website, and I'll be concentrating on the website with Betsy, and but one of us will be working on the launch for sure. If not all of us, this is going to be a big thing. So what we'll do is get going on that, and we're really excited. I think we're just, you know, it's amazing how much goes in behind the scenes to try to make all of this come together, and we're very excited about it. So we will get to you quickly on that. We'll send the notes out from this call. And then just the last thing, is there any other business that we have not touched on that anybody needs to, would like us to
Well,
mention
big thing
here?
for the launches, do we have the finished logo yet?
I can talk to Sophie. It was pretty close to being done, so.
Okay, and then I'm thinking also too that I know the one that we were working on has beautiful colors in it. If somebody's talking with Sophie, is there like a black and white version that we'll be able to use for, you know, cheap printing if we can't get color?
Okay, so you want a color and black and white?
Yeah.
And Betsy, I've tried contacting her, so we can chat if you're trying to get a hold of her too.
All right, sounds good, Sarah.
Oh, good, Miriam.
Okay, well, if nobody has any other business at this point, then I think we can sign off. And I, again, thank you very much for being here. I know everybody's got very busy days, and we're excited about where we're going with this. So thank you for being here, and thank you for being a part of the council. And Sarah will get notes out to all of us.
Yep.
And I guess that's it. So we will be talking to you all again soon, and we'll be sending out reports of how the website and the launch stuff is coming along.
Thank you very much.
Thank you much.
Thank
Excellent.
you.
Have a good day, everyone.
Okay,
Bye,
thank you,
everybody.
thank you.
Bye.
Goodbye. Have a good day. Bye bye.
Good evening.
Yeah.
Hi, Betsy.
Hey, Sarah.
I have a minute, but I want to go take a shower. Can I call?
Okay, I just need just one quick